Hey guys, Fishy here. We're ready for another live troll hunt, and there's some interesting stuff to look at today. We've had a lot of stuff happen this particular week, and it's been uh, interesting to say the least. But I wanted to start by explaining that I have a new column at Little Bites News, and it's an exclusive column there because I don't have a website yet. We're still trying to catch up with all the other things that we're doing. And so it's taken a little while to get that on off the ground. But Patty at Little Bites News invited us to write some articles there. And so I did, and she shares that around to an audience that I don't necessarily get to reach very often. And so I was really grateful for that. My first column launched last week, and it is about fakery, fake news. And I was just going to show it to you. We'll wait till it comes back through again, but you'll be able to see every week something new that I've discovered or something new that I'm explaining or talking about. And it hit on Thursday last week, so it might be a regular Thursday feature. I'm not sure, but it is a great opportunity to really focus my thoughts on fakery, what we're looking at, what we're encountering, and helping people get sort of a grounding in what's out there that's directed toward them in regular people language, not language that you would find necessarily in, say, scholarly journals. That's not me. I'm trying to give this to as many people as possible with as least intrusive language or language barriers as possible. So check that out when you get a chance, littlebitesnews.com. It might be a little hard to find the article, but you should be able to search and find fake news. You should be able to find it. I am excited. The next week, we take apart one graphic from an article that I have been checking back on occasionally from someone at Medium, or someone who wrote it at Medium, where it was talking about the different types of misinformation. So that whole thing will be giving examples of misinformation, disinformation, fakery, for people to actually absorb and see for themselves what those examples look like in practice. So I'm really excited about that. Also this week, Facebook is under fire for more fakery related to Iran and Russia, which is just lovely, don't you think? And I looked through here, and it wasn't really clear what was going on. Facebook put out a blog post. They were saying that people were engaging in what is it? Coordinated. Oh, come on, it's here somewhere. Coordinated inauthentic behavior. There we go. Coordinated inauthentic behavior, which someone quipped that that was pretty much everything on Facebook, if you were really honest. But still, there were quite a few accounts and Instagram accounts and lots of followers between them, and they've been in existence for years. And there were centered a lot of them around Iran, which is easily seen as a puppet from the Russian influence. And so it was kind of another black eye for Twitter, but they faced up to it. They put it out there publicly. But we're going to talk later in the show about foreign influence and coordinated inauthentic behavior that Facebook doesn't seem to be able to deal with. And they might think that here we have something that's, of greater moment to deal with, that this is direct ties to Iran and Russia. But I'm going to make the case, I think, that what we are seeing in my spreadsheets probably has the potential to influence far more people and for far less money. And so it doesn't need to be, there's not a high cost barrier to enter into that kind of inauthentic coordinated behavior. Also, another thing I wanted to say today, I have just recently been invited to join the board for the advisory board for Intentional Insights, which is the group behind the Pro-Truth Pledge. And if we look at that Intentional Insights page, there's a page at the top here about and the advisory board. And if you click that, oh my goodness, they put up a picture of me and a bio that's funny. So yeah, just so that you know that, full disclosure, what I am doing, I am on the board, which means that I help promote and steer and advise here and there when they request it, when they need it, and share the content that Intentional Insights and the Pro-Truth Pledge folks are doing. So I encourage you to take a look at both of those pages. Take a look at the Pro-Truth Pledge, see what whether any of this is something that you can get behind. I think that it's helpful because today I was actually called out as being a fake fact checker because I was conservative by someone who had gone to the Pro-Truth Pledge page on Facebook. And of course, the director of the Pro-Truth Pledge came back with saying, well, those are really serious accusations that you're making, so you need to go and check them out. And as a good fact checker and supporter of the truth, go and review the last 10 fact checks that Unfakery has done. And if you find something, you can hold her accountable if you find something that's false. If it's not false, you should come back and retract your statement. And so that was kind of neat. This is the Pro-Truth Pledge in action. I'm putting myself out there as someone who is dedicated and devoted to the truth based on the work that I do and my allegiance to the truth, and also my involvement with this organization. And someone who wants to call my integrity into question, I'm encouraging people to fact check me and hold me accountable. So someone who wants to make claims that are untrue about me when I am attempting to find the truth and adhere to the truth and promote the truth, then it works the other way as well, that they should be pushed gently or even not so gently to provide proof of what they're talking about or retract it. And that's what honorable people do. So that's what I wanted to say about the Pro-Truth Pledge, guys. It was really nice to see them, have my back over something because someone made an inaccurate and rather ignorant statement about my commitment to the truth based on the fact that I had a particular political leaning. So that is really nice to see. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about today, Christopher Blair has a new website. If you don't know who Christopher Blair is, you need to become acquainted with Christopher Blair. Christopher Blair has a site, or did have a site. I don't think it's in use anymore, and that's what we're going to talk about. Christopher Blair had a set of sites, a bunch of them, and I profiled them in a video before about names like Last Line of Defense, Ladies of Liberty, just different sites that were used to host fakery that he called satire, that was used to spoof conservatives, to fool them into thinking that this was true and it was a legitimate source. He always managed to put a satire label on these things so that you could, with just a little bit of effort, find that they were fake. But a lot of people did not do due diligence there, and they would let those things just slide and pass them around just as though they were real, and it was embarrassing. So that was one of the things that I wanted to make a video for, so people would know about this. And I think it was Trump Betrayed Us. I think that's the name of the site. I'm trying to find. I'm gonna have to go and actually do a search. All right, so sorry, you're gonna have to sit for 1 minute and let me flip through here where I got tagged in this. But the idea was that he had moved most of his content onto Facebook pages, and so these Facebook pages had the same content. He was doing better with viral images, things that he could create pretty quickly, and then people would share them on Facebook, and they'd get an even larger audience than they were getting on his websites. But Natalie Arsenault, one of my friends, tagged me in a post that, oh, good gravy. I was so excited to see that. I'm going to have to go to Unfakery and find it. All right. But Natalie tagged me in a post that said, Unfakery has some more work to do. And it was a post that we had debunked before, but it was back in April, I think, that we debunked it. It was something about Malia Obama getting kicked out of Harvard or something like that. And the idea there was that, they pushed this out again. It was recurring. Come to find out in the middle of all that it was probably because he's got a new site that I didn't know about. And it might be that he has a new site because he didn't want to continue to be known for the old sites. He wanted to continue to kind of fly under the radar. Not sure exactly, but we will find out. The post should be right under here. Oh boy, if it's not here, I'm going to be so disappointed. Here we go. Nope, that's not it. That is not it. All right, so I don't even know. Let me look at the comments here. Nope, that wouldn't be it because it was shared somewhere else. So I'll have to dig it up. But anyway, I think it was Trump betrayed us, and I haven't looked at the site yet. Haven't looked at the page to see if there was a page that was consistent with that he was sharing fakery out of that I just missed. But be on the lookout. He's got a new site. Also, the last thing before we get really started here, I installed the News Guard plugin, and we're going to see what that looks like. As we go through and look at particular sites, it'll pop up. So when you see this check mark here, the green check marks on different things, you'll be in the yellow and maybe some red somewhere. You'll see that pop up all over my screen. That's what that is. The NewsGuard plugin is a really cool thing. At least it shows you what this particular group of reporters thought when they checked like 9 factors of what you would look for in journalism. And when they find something they don't like or that they don't agree with, they document that. So I thought that was interesting. It's at least something to give people a little bit of an idea. But they're doing that. It shows up on Facebook. It shows up on Google. It shows up on Twitter when you look at links. And that's really cool. I've done a video about it this week. You could check that out on yourself. But it kind of makes me wonder, with the reason that Facebook decided to stop putting links next to content to say that it was false. They stopped putting fact checks underneath because it tended to dig people deeper in. I'm wondering what the presence of warning signs on a link would do to a person, if that would have the same psychological effect. So that was interesting. But it's an interesting plugin. You can try it. If you don't like it, you can scrap it. But again, I think the people who would need it and would be benefited by it the most are not the people who are looking for it and don't think they need it. So we'll see if this thing has any traction and whether it gains any following and general usage. But this is what I wanted to show you today when we talked about coordinated inauthentic behavior. I want to introduce you to some people that I have been tracking. And I just want to read through these names and see if some of these names sound familiar in at least one of the 2 names or 3 names that there will be. Isabella Tamson, Susan Carroll, David Smith, Suzette Henry, Elena Smith, Phyllis Logon, Con, Helen Smith, Phyllis Logon, Helen Smith, Joan Mellew, Susan Smith, Elizabeth Tamson, Alicia Smith, Reese Smith, Jeff Smith, David Warner, Joan Smith, Mary Joan, Marie Henry, Emma Smith, Mike Matza, Stacy Tamson, Anna Tamson, Grace Watson, Carol Warner, Mary Smith, Grace Adams, Isabella Tamson, and David Johnson. Now, just a bunch of names to you, but what I noticed after weeks and weeks of tracking these people is the links. When I sorted this spreadsheet, I sorted it by the link in column E. And doing so, what I'm seeing is these links are the same. These guys are having the same links. If you look at them, only thing that's different is these last 3 digits. Through all of these, the only thing that's different is the last 3 digits. And I thought that was really interesting. So when I started looking at it and digging in even further, I noticed a few other things that maybe you might find interesting too. So when I'm digging through here, LKJHGFDSA, that's a weird order of letters unless you look at your middle of your keyboard from right to left. All these are a bunch of profiles named from that middle section of the keyboard. And they're all tied India, Pakistan, just about all of them. Then I look down here, I have another one, MNBVCXZ, and then 3 digits. And all of these, Pakistan, India, I even caught one's name, David Warner, I found out who it was. And again, that's your bottom of your keyboard, left or right to left. That's something else. And over months I saw this. Then I found this one, and it was POIUYTREWQ, and that's the top of the keyboard from right to left. And the same names are being used. They're all from India and Pakistan. It's the same formula. And I wanted to try and see if I could figure out some accounts maybe that weren't showing up yet in my radar, but that might be out there. So I wanted to take Facebook.com and I wanted to just put in some random numbers. So we're going to go all the way across the top of the keyboard, and then we're just going to add some numbers and see if something comes up. Nope, not 781. So we'll just do a few of these and see what comes up, if there's any accounts that we can find. Nope, nothing there. That's okay. We're not going to do too many of them. Just tossing them out there to see. No. All right. I thought maybe we'd have an opportunity to get several of them. Just to see if maybe there were hundreds of these that we couldn't find. Nope, not on this one. So we'll try the next one. The bottom of the keyboard. Just random numbers. I don't have any rhyme or reason to these. Just wanted to stick them in there and see if we could capture some that might not have been used yet. No, I'm not good at guessing the numbers apparently. Oh, found this guy. I don't know who he is. I can't read that, of course. But yeah, I'd be interested to see what his stock scans showed. Let me see. 929 doesn't have anything on it. We'll try 930 just to be ornery, because they might have certain conventions that I'm unaware of. Nope. All right. So we'll try one more across the middle. LKJHGFDSA. And try that one. Nope, not found. I don't know, Facebook might have disabled all of these. That's a possibility. They just might have said, we're not going to let anybody do links like that. But at any rate, I found a bunch of those. And it only occurred to me recently that those were all coordinated by the same person, I'm sure. And when I look at these numbers, 052, 420, 538, 630, 692, there's no rhyme or reason to those. And I don't see a whole bunch of repeats, 683, 638, 691. There's nothing really coordinated that I can tell, but I've got two that haven't been deleted yet. So let's take a look at those. We can take a look at those from StockScan and grab some data while these two accounts are still open. So Isabella Tamson looks like this. To see what he shares with friends, send him a friend request. Really? Lives in Paris, New York. Really? And these are just a few pictures. Nothing, they're all dated 2010. So, I mean, that's interesting. Somebody's found some pictures that have the stamp on them from 2010. But this one was LKJHGFDSA 836. So, we'll put that in the StockScan. We'll take a look. First thing we're going to do, comments on pictures. Who is Isabella commenting on? And it's these folks. Just like in every other video that we've seen, this doesn't match. This doesn't match at all what they were showing. So we've got that. Let's look at pages. What pages are out there? Life-changing videos, Asian, Granito, India. Let's see. Something else in India. Indian Army. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is India. I'm just going to go out on a limb here. Let's look at groups that might have been involved. This is where Isabella's going to try to spread whatever fakery Isabella is about. Conservatives Together, fans of President Trump, Bill O'Reilly Group, Conservative Party, MAGA, largest group ever. Okay, so we know where this profile is targeting people. Let's see, checked in anywhere? A city. What do you want to bet that these cities are in India? Lots of them. If we scroll out here, zoom out here, we will find them concentrated. India and Pakistan. That's not at all a surprise. What pictures is Isabella tagged in? Let's take a look. These pictures. Yeah, this is confirming India over and over. What posts might Isabella be tagged in? These sorts of posts. Again, confirm, India, and all in about less than 5 minutes. The last thing that I wanted to check on with this one, though, was what posts Isabella is making. Isabella making any posts that are political in any groups yet? She's a member of a whole bunch of groups, but not making any political content posts yet that I can see. So not doing any damage yet. But back in April, this Isabella profile was under another name and interacting with a whole different continent. So yeah, nothing that's being posted now that's political or attempting to influence Americans, but that profile is primed and ready. And we know these other ones have, because that's how I've caught them. All of these have been caught doing that before. So we'll look at David Johnson as well. David Johnson, this looks normal. Of course, they love to put some flags in the cover photo. This is one of the better ones, I'll say. But there's plenty. Washington, D.C. I love when I wake up in the morning and Donald Trump is still president. That signals to everybody this is somebody safe. More Trump images, another Trump photo. There's nothing personal here at all. But Jatinder Singh says, beautiful look. Okay. Yeah. Here's the British Lung Foundation. And here is asthma inspirational. Something inspirational. Let's see. Asthma again. Time. There's the cover photo. There's the profile photo. And that's all that's here. That's pretty much it. So, of course, this is one of the MNBVCXZ accounts. And we'll take that, put that in the scanner. Take a quick look here. Let's see how long it takes us. It's 8:28 by my clock. We'll look at comments and pictures. This is what David is commenting on. That, I don't know, doesn't match with a whole lot of American flags unless this person is exclusively the only white boy in a highly Indian community that looks very much like India. Okay, so we'll comment on posts. What posts does David comment on? Punjabi models. Yeah, all right. So I'm thinking that's not a match as well. Not with that white boy face. Let's see about check-ins. Did we check in anywhere? Where did David go? No, too smart to check in, I guess. Pages. What pages has David liked? Asthma inspiration. There is something with David and asthma. Here's fibromyalgia. What else do we got? David must not be well. I don't know. But a Punjab community in Germany. And yeah, so I'm not thinking this is very local to the US. Groups. What groups? President Donald J. Trump News. We love Donald Trump. Trump for President. Bill O'Reilly. Conservative Party. USA for Trump. Sarah Huckabee Sanders fans. Yeah, this is where they're supposed to be pushing content. And let's see if they've done that. Look under posts. What do we find that he's posting? He's not posting yet either. Another reason why he's still active and not deleted yet, very likely, because no political posts at all. Oh, that's a good question, Sarah. Sarah asks if they are doing healthy clickbait. And are they in asthma support groups? That's a good question. I didn't see any groups that had asthma in it. I think all the groups that I saw were Trump related. We'll look through it again, but I didn't see anything that said asthma. Only on the likes, only on the pages. So, that is interesting. But regardless, David is another one, just one of two that are surviving of all these that I had reported, which is something like 28 profiles. There's 30 in total, and 28 of them got reported and taken down. These color codes are to help me keep them straight as to which line of the keyboard these guys are. I do that sometimes to help me think through problems that we have. One of the reasons that I bring that up, though, as far as that link, is because that is definitely some coordinated, inauthentic behavior. I have to keep using that phrase because it cracks me up. These guys have to have been run from the same group of people or even the same person. Maybe somebody who's got a list of names and they just kind of stick them together. I've seen these names over and over, though. Grace Adam, I've seen links like this, but I've seen other links that have Grace Adam's name. Emma Smith, another one. Let's see. Tamsen, last name Tamsen is another one that comes up a lot. Last name Smith, last name Tamsen. It's the way that they do this as a shorthand so they can make a lot of profiles and churn a lot of content and make more money, I'm certain. But what I started noticing is who was looking at these, and when I was looking at my spreadsheets, who was sharing this stuff. Like, most of these accounts were sharing things like Charlotte Post or Columbus Post or something like that. Something that was easy to find. And I could go through here and just do a quick search and find them from the top of the keyboard. let's see, 4 of them. So political history, Grace Adams, or Grace Adam was there. Anna Tamson as well, Mike Mazza. So all 3 of those profiles there. Let me go back up to that one before. Mike was an MNBVC, the bottom of the keyboard. Anna and Grace were the top of the keyboard, but they were all sharing politicalhistory.site. And that site is one of several that are color-coded because they're the same format. This one, Political History, also looks like this one, which is Politics Next Gen. If I show you, it's the same template between these two. And so I know those are the same people putting that together. I know that this is the same people running these particular profiles. And if I keep flipping through, I'll see another one. It's pink. Stacey Tamson right there. Grace Adams, another one. Here's David Warner from the bottom of the keyboard. Mary Joan from the bottom of the keyboard. Joan Smith from the bottom of the keyboard. Barb Mills didn't factor in. They didn't do that one. But most of these, top of the keyboard, middle of the keyboard, bottom of the keyboard, and then an occasional outlier. So this is one group. React 365, Politics Next Gen. The other one that was up here, Political History. The pink, the fuchsia ones, are the ones where we're seeing that keyboard, a lot of the profiles that have the keyboard run, one line or the other or the third. So that hot pink one, we'll find down here more of those, I'm sure. Let's see. No. But there's similar patterns though. JKAF, HKJAD. I mean, this is all centered in certain parts of the keyboard. So, I mean, these are naming conventions that they're using to build profiles so they don't have to think so much, so they don't have to worry about it. Down here we had them actually using names that were, or links that were a little more common, like they would use the name that they were going for. Charlie Liam 112, Alexandra 112, something like that. These are the ones that have come down. These particular websites have been taken down. So they've either abandoned them or something else. But that's what I've been noticing with this inauthentic behavior. This is where it's coming from. These sites are all with and I'm trying to find one of those again in fuchsia, political history here. These all had ties somewhere to India or Pakistan, something like that. Occasionally there was like a Kenya in there or something, but most of them, when they posted too, they've been taken down. And my thought is that by pushing so much of these reports of these profiles as I find them, Facebook might be learning and they might be taking these down. There are no accounts that I can find that I've tracked of all of these where I've seen this site, say for instance, be up and with accounts still there. They go down quick now if they are from that bunch. There's still this other one, this light blue, this sky blue, I guess you would say. Those, they've had a little different. Here we have the naming conventions are first name, last name, and a number. That's a little bit harder to I guess, hide, maybe. I mean, they look a little more authentic than somebody running their fingers across the keyboard. But there are so many of these profiles that have come down. But what's really weird is like this one, Luna Leo. Luna Leo, I made a video on. Luna Leo is still up, even though she shouldn't be. Even though that account should have been taken down, I've proved who it is. The American News, I don't know who's behind that, except that the accounts all returned to Pakistan. So there's several groups maybe operating. Maybe it's the pink group and the light blue group. And then we have the green group that's operating out of the Middle East, out of Egypt, I think. And so just trying to track this. This is the definition of coordinated, inauthentic behavior. And as I go through all these and see, all the Philippines have been taken down, and all of the India and Pakistani ones in pink have been taken down. There's still plenty that are out there sharing stuff, and they tend to be like this. One of the new tricks, WDC, which I suppose stands for Washington, D.C., POTUS dot site, has these accounts from people that are in Pakistan, and they tell you they're in Pakistan, or they're in India and they tell you. See right here, this guy lives in Multan. Multan turned out to be in Pakistan. Well, that's not going to be taken down for fakery, but he is still spamming groups with this content. And we'll see some of that. Mubin Prince, Umesh Sharma, Dulhed Raja, all those guys are spamming groups with that content. And because they're using their real names, it's staying up, I think. And that's the place that I wanted Facebook to tackle next. I wanted them to think about what this looks like when they do this. Here's a whole bunch of guys. Happy Singh, Deepak, Kaku, Saddam, Manoj, Amit, all these guys still active and spamming this stuff into groups where 2 or 3 of them will share the same story from Columbus Post or whatever. Then they also had a bunch of white girl type names here that all got taken down almost immediately. So they're still up and they're still able to post in those groups as Indians, as Pakistanis, but not when they put on the Pat Wood name or the Richard Taylor name. Facebook is catching that, but they're not taking down these legitimate accounts, what seem to be legitimate accounts, pushing the same content. And again, this is coordinated inauthentic behavior when they're faking with those names. What do you call it when they are doing it under their own names, under their own accounts? I don't know. I don't know what we do about this, but I want people thinking about it. So what I did too, I went in and checked some more of these guys and some pages, because if you want to talk about inauthentic behavior, we've already looked at a whole bunch for weeks now of Pakistani and Indian fakers. But this is another sheet that I have that maybe we don't spend so much time on. Some of the pages here have been taken down. A Barron Trump couple of pages, a Donald Trump page. I love my President Donald J. Trump page is gone. An Ivanka Trump page. A MAGA 2020 page that came down much earlier in July, I think. Tiffany Trump page, Time for Trump, True Trump Lovers, We Love Donald Trump Family. All those have been taken down. And some of these profiles have had name changes. This one, News About Trump Family, was shared by Sabit Rashidi. Changed the name to Amit Sadiku. I don't know what's going on there, but that seems kind of hinky. I don't know. It's same guy, same picture. They just changed the name. And that's happened before. We have talked about, what is that one? I'm just going to search on it because I know it's in here. It is Zheng. No, it's not going to show up. Jianfu. I can't spell. There we go. Asan Bilal. This is a profile that's been around forever. It used to be a kid with a MAGA hat on it. Now we've got this one. So yeah, this one has been, this is what it used to be, these photos, and now it's this person. So I don't know if they're putting like real names and faces that'll pass ID checks, but that's what we're seeing from these guys. What I noticed though is look how many of these names don't seem as though they are very Western. Here's all this police and military groups that I've been tracking for a while. And it's things like Law Enforcement Lives Matter, which would be political as far as groups go, since Black Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, all this sort of thing has become a political way of referring to these things. I want to look at those groups. Law Enforcement Lives Matter, Police Lives Matter, and then a few others of these. So we have Law Enforcement Lives Matter. We've talked about Aphrodita here before. Aphrodita is one who shares this religiously. If we look at her content, and we will, we'll see that. This is Aphrodita. This is her profile. It tells you right here where she studied, and it was a university that I'm pretty sure is in Kosovo, but we don't even need to scroll through her profile. We'll just stalk scan her. I almost said stalk scan the bee just because I'm in a mood. But if we look that and we do comments on pictures, find out what she's commented on, and we'll just take a real quick look at this nice little picture, and we'll look for her name. Oh, I just had it. There it was. Here's her comments. And then we will copy that really quickly. We will put that in Google Translate just so I can demonstrate. I should have left that open. All right, Albanian. So she comments on photos in Albanian. Does that mean that she's in Albania, in Kosovo, in that region? Not necessarily. It seems like she does have some command of English if this is what she's sharing, but all of her comments seem to be in Albanian or related languages. Here she is responding to this. Let's see where her comment is. Aphrodita. There it is. Irime says congratulations in Albanian. And so there, yeah, again, this is where she is. If we go and look at check-ins, there's probably some check-ins that show where she's centered around. And what do you imagine they would be? There's Romania, Albania, Slovenia, Macedonia, Kosovo. Where does her life center? When you zoom out, right there. So she is Eastern European centric. But this is what she's doing. If we look at her posts, what is she doing with her posts? Law Enforcement Lives Matter. Sharing that into different groups over and over and over. Now you might think that's not very harmful. Here she is with Judge Janine's post. She's sharing that into the groups. And again, back to Law Enforcement Lives Matter. Why this isn't very harmful? Look at that. We're having politicized messages shared by people like this, exploiting Americans' interest, exploiting their attention, but also nudging them politically. If they were posting things in Law Enforcement Lives Matter and also in I Hate Donald Trump group, which I have seen some of these profiles do, it's divisive. It is intentionally trying to get people to interact and react to most extreme kind of messaging. And that's what they do. Why is Aphrodita, who is centered around the Kosovo region, so interested in Judge Janine and in Law Enforcement's Lives Matter, unless her family, the Abdullahus here, are in the business of making Facebook pages and having people driven to them and building up a following? And it's hard to see how they could profit from doing so, right? It's hard to see how they might make money doing this, although Facebook is allowing some monetization in some platforms in some places. You don't know who's got access to that and who doesn't. But you know what? It could be just as easy for someone to be paying these people to push this content. And we don't know who that is. We might never know who that is. So that's Aphrodita. When we look further on that spreadsheet, we have Albion Abdullahu and Zahir Abdullahu. So the whole family seems to be in on this. And they're not centered in the U.S. Let's look down at Police Lives Matter. There's two different groups called, or two different pages called Police Lives Matter. Here's Dardan Piraku. Let's take a look at Dardan. Dardan looks like this. He's from Kosovo. He tells you straight up right there. When we go, we don't even need to stock scan him for that, except we're going to because we want to see where he's posting. So we'll put that link in the stock scan, and we will go down to posts here on the left under profile, and we'll look and see Police Lives Matter over and over to different groups like To God Be the Glory, Good Morning Lord, but also political groups like United Americans Will Re-elect Donald Trump. And they're just taking this content and pushing it into all of these groups. Why, though? How are they getting paid? How are they getting any profit? There doesn't seem to be an associated web page. So how is it being monetized? And I guarantee you, it is being monetized somehow, because nobody in Kosovo is this interested in American cops' lives. Nobody. And especially not just Dardan Piraku, but Hashim Piraku as well, who might be related. Might be father-son. Here's Pristina. That's Kosovo as well. So, these guys, same family. We will even look and see if they have their connections listed here. Family people. Oh, there's a daughter. Okay, so there's a Piraku we haven't looked at yet. What else? If we go back to... Oh, that's this guy. He's out. So, yeah, there's family there. This is what they're doing. If you'll find the same pages run by people with the same last name. Here's the other Police Lives Matter. It's Kelmendis. Hashim and Besnik Kelmendi. And where might they be from? What do you think? Where could it be? If he's not going to tell us in his profile, we're going to go dig it up in his stock scan records. Let's see. So where do we have pages for him? What is he interested in page-wise? Netherlands. Let's see. What else do we got? Furniture stores. These cities sound like they are Eastern European. I'm not sure. I'm just looking for one that tells me Albania. There we go. What else do we have besides Albania? And I mean, these are not names that we recognize as Western names. There's Pristina, there's Kosovo, Albania, Kosovo again, Pristina. This is someone who's centered in Eastern Europe. And so that's Besnik. We've already seen Besnik. Who else was there? Hashim. And frequently you'll find some of the content that we're seeing is anti-American, or not anti-American, but it's pro-Trump, and it's anti-Muslim, which is very incendiary. This guy's also Kosovo, and when we stick him in here, let's see what he's posting and where. So Hashim Kelmendi is posting to Police Lives Matter group, work from home business opportunities. They are hitting everybody they can in these groups. Rap and hip hop music, truck drivers, Jesus Daily, Buy and Sell USA. I mean, they're hitting everybody over and over. Nobody does this without some money involved, without being on someone's payroll. Who could it be? All those inauthentic pages that came down that were tied to Russia and Iran, we don't know what's behind these pages, but we know who's pushing these pages, and it's all people from those areas. Look, I went through and marked where I caught each of these people in their profiles, some of them before I even had stock scan. Albanian photo comments, Kosovo check-ins, all the way down. Here's Serbia, Kosovo, Serbian high school. I caught them sharing other groups on other topics. Some of them share animal content as well, but these names are the same. Hassani, Abdullahu, let's see, Demiri is another one, Ademi. These are families of people in Kosovo, in that region, Macedonia, who are making these pages, and we don't know why, and we don't know to what end, but these are all cop related, which has become very political in the past few years. And again, you'll see some of those same names down here a little further when we look at the animal things, some of these same types of names. Kosovo and Macedonia are all over these page groups, all over. I can go scroll all the way up back to the Donald Trump sections, and it's Kosovo and Albania, and occasionally you'll have Egypt. George William is someone new trying to run a network out of Egypt. Here's somebody out of Romania. The India and Pakistani ones came down. Some of those pages. Anne Hathaway was Pakistan. But we have Grace Adam. There's another one. These guys are almost exclusively, though, out of Kosovo and Albania. Here's some Sri Lankans trying to get in on the action, but somebody's paying them. Somebody's paying them because they're not doing this just because they're interested in American affairs. Nobody does this. So if you want to talk about coordinated, inauthentic behavior, there you go. It's right there in front of you. And I can see that shared in all sorts of places. And we'll check a group that I'm very, very frequently visiting. United Americans elect Donald Trump is now called United Americans Will Re-elect Donald Trump in 2020. And so we'll just skim through this group and see what we find. Oh, look who's here. Aphrodita Abdullahu, right here, right on top. Law Enforcement Lives Matter. That's it is now going to be considered political content. Here's I Love America. That's another one of those groups shared by a whole bunch of people from that area. If I look down here in my spreadsheet for I Love America, they had a whole page taken down that a whole bunch of accounts were sharing, and all those accounts came down too. But what do you see here? I Love America is back. If I look and see which one it is I Love America 17. If we look through here on the link, I may have a new one to add. Yep, I have a new I Love America to add. They keep making them because they keep getting taken down. In fact, really quickly, we're going to check that one and see if it's up. Yep, okay. But they keep making I Love America profile or accounts, and that's great because I don't know then if one of them or another one is still active or not. And Janus Salihi lives in New York, New York. Do you think so? Not really. I'm thinking no. What else do we got here? There's a YouTube video. DonaldTrumpPoll.com. This is a new one too. So every one of these I put into my spreadsheet when I see something like this. And it's, you got to click on it to vote in the poll, apparently. People will do it here in the comments because that's what people do. Here's another new one, US 24 Online. This is another one that needs to be recorded because I'm pretty sure it's full of fakery. I see that there's not even any links here, just it's copy pasted probably from some other source, so I'll check that one out as well. In fact, what I'll do is open that, shut this, and that way I can come back to the exact post again. All right, and then scroll down a little further. What other fakery? I almost said a different word besides fakery. Bujar Pacolis, and we've been watching Pacolis for a long time. Always American. It's Kosovo run. That whole group. He and his wife and brother or sister-in-law or something. I don't even know who all's there. Native American ''S. I mean, when I'm through twitching at the apostrophe S in the wrong place and everything. I know this name. I've seen it before. That person is not from the U.S. Political Desire site. That's one of the sites we looked at over here when we were looking at the different colored ones. Political Desire is this blue group. There's nobody here that I had tracked that had that account's still working it, but Farhan Butt might be reactivated. Nope. Looky here. Farhan Butt is a new Farhan Butt sharing the same content. But guess we know where it's going to come from. Political Desire. Everybody is Pakistan. So when I check this account, it's going to be Pakistan. I'm sure of it. And NFL star accused of leaving his ex-girlfriend bloody and beaten. I don't know if that's a true story or not, but I do know that's a name that's been used by fakers before, and I do know that that site is full of crap out of Pakistan, clickbait and whatever. So this is how over and over you see all these things that go into Trump-related groups, and we don't know who these people are that are sharing it, but they are certainly affecting Americans. Here's Newspaper of USA. That's a new one on me. I am guessing this is a very low like page, and I'm right. 478. That's going on the spreadsheet because we don't know who has, again, been sharing this stuff. There are new names, new people involved, and it's all coordinated, inauthentic behavior targeted at Americans. By the way, how many times have we seen Muslim figure, we must have pork-free menus or we believe U.S.? That is designed to make people respond. Go ahead, what's stopping you? And then bacon, 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 things like that. This is the fakery from overseas that is being served to Americans over and over, day after day. People like these coming in and just getting a steady diet of it again and again. Here's I Love America again in that IQ format that we noticed on several other videos before. And then Donald Trump poll again. That one's a big one these days. So that's going to have to be checked by who's sharing that. Diana Amaral is really getting around with those. Here's another Piccoli. American News. Here's Diana again. These people are persistent because it pays. Somehow it pays. And Facebook is farting around over whether Russians and Iranians are putting content out that doesn't appear to be, authentic, that it appears to be they're run out of those places. This that I'm showing you here can be solved with a couple of tweaks of an algorithm, but they won't do it because look how much engagement and traffic comes from these fakers. Here's 21 likes or reactions and 32 comments. Facebook loves that. Facebook makes money from that. And so maybe that's part of the problem here. Forget about what it's doing to people in a political election year. Forget about all that. This is just, let's gain some income and keep our stats up. Dogs are amazing. That's a new one to me. But let's keep our stats up of how many people are on these pages doing things, time on page, so that we can sell more advertising dollars to more people who don't realize that they're being sold content and anger and outrage and frustration and nastiness, and who are being sold the new tone, which is everybody at each other's throats all the time over everything, by people overseas who are exploiting Americans for this sort of thing. So again, I'm going to come back to this again and again because it is something that is so frustrating to me. If this content were removed, some of these groups would have to shut down simply because there would be nobody in them to engage with anymore because all of the fakers will have gone. But I think that might be the best thing for us. Might be a little boring, but it might be good for us. So, anyway, it is time to close up shop. We've been at it an hour and I have showed you so much fakery. My head is spinning. But I did want to thank you for joining me today, for looking through this stuff. Try to think about who you know in your life that goes to these groups, that engages in these groups, and think about what you can do, what I can do, what we can do to help reach them and show them that they are being fed a diet of outrage and clickbait and frustration for someone else's profit. How do we reach these people? We should be thinking about that because we're going to have to. I think these people vote based on what they're seeing here. I think there are fake quotes going around that different people said that are informing people's votes and their interactions, and I'm worried about it. So, please have your friends like Unfakery. Send them our way. If you see fakery that you think needs to be debunked and you don't want to be the bad guy, let us know. We can get involved there and help you a little bit. Also, send some people to the videos on YouTube. The YouTube video channel needs some attention. We have so many videos up there just showing people what's going on or instructing people, like, again, the demonstration of the NewsGuard plugin we did, or send them to read some of the articles that we've posted on our page on Facebook. But just help us grow so that we can reach more people and start solving some of these problems, or at least start making a dent in them. We know Facebook is just farting around and they barely know what they're doing. At least it appears to be that way. If they're being clever, they're being too clever by half. So help us reach more people and get more people involved so that we can start to push back more effectively. Look at this. They don't even hide it. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Oh, my stars. This lives in St. Petersburg, Russia. Are you for real? I am unable to can. I can't even. Anyway, good gravy. Good night, everyone. Thanks for joining us.